Hiya folks, and welcome to DJ Living's Fantasy Premier League. Right guys, we're now 22 weeks into this season and things are starting to go up and down again. I'm going to run through the only thing I will say is that Daniel Madabula has got a great score this week, 77 points, has managed to push himself up into top spot. My team, I had a look the other day, I did a little, as I said I was going to do, I did a little capture of the league when it came to the start of the World Cup. I was in second place and now I'm like lower than halfway down, so things can change a lot up and down in these last 14, 15 weeks of the season, so bear with it guys, and good luck to everyone out there. As I'm talking, obviously I'm showing you the league at the moment, so you can see people going up and down quite regularly now, so in some areas it's quite tight, but we shall see how the rest of the season pans out. But let's have a look really first at last week's fixtures. So we had Chelsea a 0-0 draw against Fulham, West London derby there. Bit of a shock result really, but Fulham are not doing too badly this season. Everton 1, Arsenal 0. That was probably the biggest shock of the weekend. Obviously a brand new manager in Sean Dyche coming into Everton. That's a good fit for the club, I think, the way they're at the moment. Got them playing really well in that first game of the season, ground out the 1-0 win. Then we've got Aston Villa 2, Leicester 4. 4 goals for Leicester. It's been a while since Leicester scored 4 goals in a game. Brentford 3, Southampton 0. Brentford is still pushing up really high in the table. Brighton 1, Bournemouth 0. Man United 2, Crystal Palace 1. Another shock next, Wolves 3, Liverpool 0. Wolves had only managed a dozen or so goals so far this season. In the first 20 games, managed 3 against Liverpool. Then we have Newcastle 1, West Ham 1. Forest 1, Leeds 0, and then the other shock of the weekend, Spurs 1, Man City 0. Obviously really pleased about that myself. But we'll say the top 4, at the top 4 in the league, only Man United got a victory. Newcastle got a point, the other 2 obviously lost. So it looks good for Man United. Their child credentials aren't out the window yet. And then also the teams behind, so you've got Spurs, Brentford and Brighton are chasing pack. That's good news for them as well. Getting a little bit closer to them top 4 positions. So this looking good for the rest of the season. It's a quite interesting one. But obviously that Leeds defeat to Nottingham Forest led to Jesse Marsch being sacked. He's only been there 5-6 months and he's already been given a sack. The results haven't been good enough there. But in my opinion, how you can expect anything to change in 6 months is beyond me. But that's just the way of the Premier League when it comes to managers. Obviously, another one is the issues of Manchester City with their financial issues. Will that make any difference for the rest of the season? Will they get this whole investigation done and then dock them points this year, or wait until the off season and start the ball rolling there for next season? We'll have to wait and see what pans out on that one. One thing we'll say as well, Man United and Leeds are playing at the moment. When I last looked, after about an hour, Leeds were 2-1 up, which is not good news for Man United fans. Not good news for myself because I put 2 Man United players in this week. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens in the rest of that game. Although Rashford did score. So my players to watch this week, I had De Gea and Shaw. You know, both of them were reasonably priced Man United players. They had 2 games this week. But after the first game, De Gea had 2 and Shaw had 5. Obviously 2 goals in this Leeds game, at least 2 goals in this Leeds game. Don't be getting good scores in this one. And then I had March from Brighton. He ended up with 3 points in his game. And then Mbeumo from Brentford. He managed to go on an assist for 12 points. So he was pleased about the other 3. What can I say? This is a guessing game. And as I said, my team is dropping like a stone. So what do I know? Anyway, so after them first 10 games, we had 21 goals in the 10 games with 8 clean sheets. Right folks, let's look at the team of the week and we'll start in goal with Arrizabalaga. He managed 10 points for Chelsea in their 0-0 game. There was another keeper with 10 points. I can't remember who it was off the top of my head, but obviously Arrizabalaga was the cheaper of the two. Then in defence, James Tarkowski for Everton managed a goal in that game for 15 points. Then Ben Mee for Brentford managed a goal in his game as well for 13 points. And then Dawson for Wolves also managed a goal and got 12 points, with Kilman, also from Wolves, got 1 assist for 11 points. So there's a few defenders scoring at the moment. So obviously the top 3 of the team of the week all scored goals to get some good points. In midfield, we had Rashford with 12 points, Mitoma from Brighton, 11 points, and Neves from Wolves with 11 points. It's the first time Neves has been in the team of the week, I think, all season. And then up front, we've got Iheanacho for Leicester. Managed a goal and 2 assists and got himself 15 points. And then Mbeumo for Brentford, like I say, a goal and assist for 12 points. And then Ollie Watkins for Aston Villa got 11 points. Fixtures for next week. We've got another game that's midweek for next week's, but the weekend fixtures are as follows. West Ham, Chelsea, another London derby there. We'll see how that goes. West Ham are starting to really get dragged into that relegation battle, and Chelsea are falling away a little bit. So we'll see how that pans out. Arsenal, Brentford. Obviously Arsenal lead to win this one because their next game, which I'll speak about in a minute, is a big one. So Arsenal need to win this after their loss last week, but Brentford are doing well. Crystal Palace, Brighton. Then Fulham, Forest. Leicester against Spurs. Let's see how that one goes. Leicester obviously coming off a really good win there against Villa, but Spurs must be on a high at the moment after beating Man City 1-0. Southampton against Wolves is next up. Then Bournemouth, Newcastle. Newcastle need to bounce back and get 3 points. They had 4 draws in the last 5 games. Then we've got Leeds, Manchester United, which will be an interesting one because obviously they play each other at the moment and then they're playing against each other at the weekend, but this will be at Elland Road. Then Man City, Aston Villa. Man City will be desperate for a bounce back, and obviously Villa are not doing too well at the moment, so I can see Man City getting some goals in that game. Liverpool, Everton, Mersey derby. It's going to be an interesting one this year. Everton obviously riding high after that 1-0 win, and Sean Dyche in there now. Liverpool are not playing well at all at the moment, and the Mersey derby, it's anyone's, but this could be a tight one, a lot tighter than you would have said it would have been a month ago. And then the other midweek game for next week, I'm not too sure if it's on the Tuesday or Wednesday, but it's the big one. It's Arsenal, Manchester City. Arsenal at home. If Arsenal don't beat Brentford and Man City beat Aston Villa, which they should do, then that game could be massive for Arsenal and for City. But Arsenal really, they can't get any points in the next 2 games, and Man City get 6 points. They're all square pretty much. So we'll see how that one pans out. But it could be an interesting week next week. Let's have a look who I've picked to watch next week. So I've started off in goal with Leno from Fulham. He's been surprisingly good this year. Obviously, Arsenal, Ramsdale has been even better than Leno, but they let Leno go to Fulham, and I've picked him. He's 4.5 million, which isn't too bad at all. And they are home to Forest at the moment. They're home to Forest next weekend, so that should be a reasonably good game for Fulham. We'll see how it goes. So then Newcastle, defensively wise, Newcastle have been really good this year. You could pick any of the 4 Newcastle defenders, but I've gone for Burn at 4.6 million. Obviously Trippier is going to be the big one, but he's 6.5-ish million, and I think so. If you're looking for, this is a bit more of a bargain kind of thing. So Burn there, 4.6 million. They're away to Bournemouth. Then I'm looking at Mitoma from Brighton. He's 5.2 million, and he's been in team of the week 3 weeks in a row, or 2 out of the last 3 weeks. He's been riding high in the last month anyway, that's for sure. And he's come out of nowhere for Brighton. So he's going to be my pick, 5.2 million, not too bad at all. But also don't forget, we've got the big signing at Chelsea, Fernandes. He's only 5 million or 5.1 million at the moment, so he could be another good one to pick up. But obviously Chelsea are away to West Ham, and Brighton are away to Palace. And then my forward to look for this week is Eddie Nketiah. He's running out. Jesus won't be too much far behind. Obviously, you've got Trossard there as well that's breathing down Nketiah's neck again. But he's got to try and prove himself a bit, Eddie. He's got a few more games, I think, now where he can try and really smash home some goals. And they are at home to Brentford, like I say. And then they have got the other game against Man City. So we'll see how Eddie does in them 2 games. But 6.7 million, he's not a bad shout. So that's my 4 to watch next week. Right, guys, as ever, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment down below if you want. Or if you can leave a comment down below and have a look at my team and tell me what I'm doing wrong, because I am not doing well this second half of the season. But also give me a thumbs up, please, and give me a share on your social medias, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It's not just about football. We've got plenty of other stuff, a lot of stuff around Disney, if anyone recognises any of that. So yeah, please give us a subscribe, and if you want to catch any more videos as well, obviously these will be up weekly still. Not too much of the season left now. We've got past the halfway mark, and it's going to be a bit of a grind now from now to the end of the season. But we'll see how things go. I hope you're enjoying the league if you're in the league as well, and we shall see you next week for some more.